Now, it's eight days before Ghanaians go to the polls to elect a president and 275 members of parliament. The various political parties have intensified their campaigns in the four swing regions in a bid to convert votes. The winners of the four swing regions in the past, that's the Western, Bunahafo and Greater Accra regions, have always won the presidential race. Tonight, we will explore the campaigns in the final week ahead of next Wednesday's poll. And I have with me in the studio Erica Mwakochum, who is a member of the NPP communication team. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you.
So
how are you?
I am fine, fantastic. I cannot wait for December 7th to come and go away, so that we will be free from all the intense campaign. Now, I mean, that's aside, how is your campaign going?
Thank you very much. To start with, I'll say good evening to all the viewers out there. By the grace of God, our campaign is going on fantastic. I personally came from the northern region. Actually, I was in the president's own backyard. And I'm quietly confident that the NPP would emerge victorious in this 2016
We'll be grateful if you could raise your voice a bit. Now, the NPP and NDC were in the Western region together. How crucial is that region for the two of you going into the 2016 elections? Is there a particular strategy for the Western region?
Well, I mean, we're going after every single vote. So, for instance, if we're in the Western region, it's essentially to make sure that we are able to galvanize as much votes as possible, and then also to energize our base and carry on the conversation. And you all know that it's an integral part of our economy in terms of the resources that come from the Western region, and that we feel that there needs to be some equitable distribution of all the resources that accrues,
but
and what goes into.
Are you not doing this bearing in mind that in the 2012 elections, for example, in the December presidential elections, John Mahama polled 54.42%, whilst Nana Akufo-Addo had 43.8%. So there was a pretty wide gap in it. Is that the reason why you're consistently trying to narrow the gap by showing presence there very often?
Well, like I said, we're going after every vote. In as much as there was some gap in the 2012 elections, I think that also the dynamics has also changed. In that, even when you look at the president's own promise to the Western region, where he actually promised that he was going to give them 10% of the resources that accrued from the oil revenue, and that didn't happen. And that the roads in the Western region, for instance, are in such a deplorable state. So if you look at the fact that we have a region that has oil, has gas, has the timber, has the gold, the vast majority of the cocoa that we produce in this country actually comes from the Western region, then it's imperative that we carry the conversation to these people and say, now listen, we need to vote for a government that will be able to come in and essentially create an avenue for the people in the Western region to thrive. So that NADU has actually even gone on record to say that, listen, the Western region is such a vast region that we need to basically split it into two, to have the Western and then the Western North, so that it gives ample opportunity for like the proper administration of the region. So these are some of the conversations that we've had going forward. So they have the basic issues that basically permeates across the country can be found there. Lack of water, lack of adequate resources, people having problems with the NHIS and all of these things.
Right, let me quickly get onto the other telephone lines and speak with Fred Agbenyo, who is the Deputy Director of Communications for the NDC. He's joining us. Mr. Agbenyo, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, that is good.
Great. Now, let's look at the concentration of votes in the Western region. The first-time voters who registered this year in the limited exercise were over 1 million overall. How are you targeting your messages to win these voters? I'm not only talking about Western region, but across the country.
Well, I think that our political party is a political party for all messages. The society, the old, the young, the vulnerable, the rich, and the poor. It's a political party that represents aspirations of all Ghanaians of all tribes, all religions. And so they all know that already. and almost everybody identifying themselves as NDC because they know the NDC don't discriminate and we give opportunity to everybody. If you look at the session, the president is very much focused on the activities that will enhance or promote the youth in particular in our society. And it's not for nothing, it's investing heavily in the educational sector. Because I believe that for every country to go to develop, you need to first of all pay attention to your human resource. And so it's investing in that area. It's not for nothing, it's opening several factories across the country. Because you know that the youth must to work when they finish school.
You know, I'm afraid your sound quality is a bit bad. If you could reposition yourself, maybe move to an open area or close to a window, we can hear pretty well. We're not hearing you. I'm sorry, but
okay. So let me reposition myself.
Yes, please.
If it's fine, then collectively.
Okay. All right.
Is it better?
Yes, it's better. It's much better now. So you're saying that there is a strategy your party is putting in place to garner all the votes that you require to win. I mean, it's like same thing the NPP is saying also.
The point I'm making basically is that NDC is a party for all persons in society. Everybody has a room in NDC to operate. Everybody has the opportunity to get to the very best of his purpose on earth. And so the people know that. So I was making a point that it's not for nothing. The president is investing in the road infrastructure, hospital infrastructure, educational infrastructure. It is because he believes that the youth must have a place to work. It's not for nothing. It's reviving old factories and building new factories because he cares about employment opportunity for the youth. If you look at the work he has done in the health sector, in the educational sector, it is purposely to get a place for the youth to work when they finish with their schools or their training. Today, as we speak, of all the 10 polytechnics we have in this country, by the grace of God, almost 6 of them have been converted into technical universities so that we can take off all the problems that we have when it comes to salary structure and placement of the youth, those who are coming from polytechnics and from the university, and also to get hands-off training, and so they can go into the world market well-equipped, well-prepared to take over the world. And so our party, so far, we have demonstrated enough commitment to solving the needs of the people of this country. I am surprised. My brother was saying that Western region, President Mahama promised was going to give them 10% of oil revenue. He has not done that. Even the investment that we have done in the Western region to took over office, 10% really would have been nothing because the oil as it is today is about 2.4% of our GDP. So 10% of that will not be related to Western region, considering the amount of money that we have spent into Western region alone. This is definitely a project to keep the president. Talk about the railway line project we are talking about. Go to Takrady and see today. Today, Takrady is becoming Takrady proper, the road infrastructure. Talk about the harbor project that we are talking about. Talk about the Chabo gas project that is happening.
Right, Mr.
Talk about the seaport that we are building. Before you come and think about the schools. Today, when they are going from Takrady to Takwa, from Takwa to Elugu,
right, I'm afraid, Ms. Agbenyo, we would have to move on the conversation. Thanks very much. Fred Agbenyo is Deputy Director of Communications of the NDC. Now, he's saying that they've put in quite a lot of investment in the Western region, but the NPP doesn't see. He mentions the roads in Takrady proper. He mentions a railway, new railway lines in Takrady. All of that you haven't seen?
Well, I mean, I think that Fred is quite disingenuous if he actually goes to say that they have actually invested more than the 10%. In any case, it wasn't me or anybody in the NPP that actually promised the people of the Western region that they were going to get 10% of the oil revenues. But that notwithstanding, the issue is as simple. We have a government that in the history of this country has actually borrowed since the era of Gajisbeck, more than any other government in this, has also had the benefit of revenue that has never happened in this country, right? Now, so if you juxtapose what they have done in the Western region and the sort of monies that have accrued to them over the period,
could have done more with that
way more than that. So if you look at that, and you look at the fact that, and apart from that, quite apart from that, something that I don't actually get from the NDC is the fact that the people on the ground are actually saying that we are actually in a bad state. Our roads are deplorable. We can't afford to feed our children. it's expensive for kids to go to school. We can't pay school fees. The cost of living has actually gone up. We can't pay our utility bills.
So basically,
the
what
price
you're doing
of it.
is to just raise the negatives.
We are not raising negative.
The development agenda and put it before the electorate and say, vote for us because your life is worse.
Infrastructure. Nobody in the NPP has said that if you put up a hospital or you build a road, it's a bad thing.
Or a school.
Or a school.
Or
what we are trying to say is that the president himself has alluded to the fact that going out there and essentially just mentioning projects or listing out the number of projects that you have done is an exercise in mediocrity.
Right,
now, if you go out there, right, some of these projects that they have put out there actually sticks out like a sore thumb. Because what happens is that the impact on the lives of the people is not being felt. And there are germane issues that are important to the people on a daily basis, which the NDC administration has failed to address.
Mr. Amakuchum, I'm afraid we have to end our conversation. I'm grateful that you made time to come in. Mr. Eric Amakuchum is a member of the NPP communications team, and I'm Stephen Enti. This is still News at 10. We have more news for you. Please stay.